Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is the Captain speaking here on Capnclydes MTG. Today we got something interesting. After 25 years, Magic the Gathering, Hasbro, call it what you will, has put the old kibosh on another distributor, taking the number down to like 4 people. So yeah, this will be interesting. And show some of the sketchy things that go on in the world. But anyway, before we get started, don't forget, comment, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. The comments down below feed the YouTube algorithm. Also, links in the description: eBay, TCG, Player, Patreon, YouTube membership. The Otaku Shop is a new partner. Go check them out. Get you some loot. I got a video coming up, I believe, right after this video, if I actually put my videos in the correct order. God forbid that happen. But anyway, I'm going to go over some of the sweet swag I got from them. And yeah, it's sweet. If you love anime, go to the Otaku Shop. Link in the description. You'll also get a discount by using the code Capnclydes. So let's get into it. So after 25 years, the company behind Magic the Gathering and Dungeons & Dragons, i.e. Hasbro, Wizards of the Coast, call it what you will, a major distributor is being dropped. Here's what it means for you. So, Alliance Game Distributors. Now, back when I ran my shop, way back in my day, and I actually had the pleasure of running a card store, which was, I admit, it was really fun. Not any way to make money, but fun nonetheless. Alliance Game Distributors was one of the distributors I used out of 3 different distributors I got product from that had Magic. There was other distributors I used too, but the main distributors of Magic was Alliance was one of them, and there was Southern Hobby, and there's a few other people. Alliance has been dropped by Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro for lots of, well, let's be honest, valid reasons. Believe it or not, this is, if you're here for Wizard hate, well, sorry, not this video. And this might give you a little look into what real scalping looks like and things like that when it comes to why can't I get my boxes cheap. So, we'll go down here to the article written by, I cannot pronounce, McMillan. Yes, this, I don't know, dude. I know you're happy, but I don't know what to tell you. So, amidst a back and forth in the latest development in bankruptcy for Diamond Comic Distributors, that's where Alliance is tied to. It entirely separates from any lawsuits. Bankruptcy details should stand out. Magic the Gathering and Dungeons & Dragons owner, Wizards of the Coast, is dropping Diamond's Alliance game distribution as a distribution partner as of May 1st, 2025. Yeah, I know it's a little late. Again, I was on vacation. I seen this. I was like, holy shit, things happened. I got back and I just remembered it. So bear with me. Now, according to the information laid out in the Alliance Entertainment lawsuit against Diamond, Wizards of the Coast initially made the decision to cut ties with Alliance game distributors at the end of 2024. So this has been a whole year in the making. Well, at the end of 2024. So it's been 5 months. Opting not to renew a contract with the company that expired December 31st of 2024. Notable, before Alliance game distributor owner Diamond. So there's 2 companies here. If I'm starting to confuse you, there's Diamond Alliance. I'm sorry, there's Diamonds. I forget the whole name, but that is the owner of Alliance Game Distributors, and they do other stuff. They do comic books and anyway. Point being, cause Diamond itself announced it was filing for bankruptcy. So that came 2 weeks later. So given that Alliance Entertainment's lawsuit suggests that Wizards was worth roughly 25% of Alliance game distributors' revenue and is the company's most critical relationship, it's worth wondering if there is a connection between the 2 events. So scroll down, we'll read the last paragraph. So if the Alliance Entertainment lawsuit is to be believed, Wizards of the Coast is responsible for roughly $39.88 million of annual revenue with Alliance game distributors and the parent company Diamond comic book distributors. There's the main company name. So here's the thing. Diamond went into bankruptcy before this, and we're trying to settle owed debt. But the problem was, with that debt came how they made their revenue, and a lot of that was dealing with Wizards. Now, man behind the mask, don't look behind the curtain kind of deal. The problem is, from what I've heard and what this will probably tell us, is that Alliance owed Wizards lots of money, which is why Wizards cut their contract. Not because they didn't want to deal with them, but mainly because they're behind on their money, on their payments, which isn't a big deal unless you're in bankruptcy and you can't guarantee to get your money on anything you sell them. Also, if the sale is really $39.88 million of revenue for the company, that basically means that without Wizards, this company is very, very not solvent, because 25% of the revenue comes from one product. And if it's in bankruptcy, Wizards of the Coast products can't float the whole company. That means they're doing bad on everything else or whatever. So yeah, let's get a little more detail here. So nonetheless, Wizards and Diamonds negotiated a short-term extension through March 31st of this year, which again was extended to April 31st. Wizards was offered another extension through December 31st, 2025, but refused the offering according to the lawsuit, with Wizards allegedly telling Diamond that it had always intended to sever their working relationship due to decreasing sales, i.e. bankruptcy, at the time when other distributors were seeing sales increases. So the short-term extensions were, again, according to the lawsuit, attempts to induce Diamond to name Wizards of the Coast as a critical vendor in the bankruptcy proceedings, which would give it priority for the court to repay monies owed. Now, according to this court filing, Diamond owes Wizards of the Coast $914,601.84. That's Wizards. That is only Wizards of the Coast products, i.e. Magic the Gathering and probably D&D. Now, with that being said, I'm not sure if I believe D&D is part of this, only because if you go on to continue, it says it owes Wizards' parent company, Hasbro, which whatever they bought from Hasbro, an additional $1,064,378.39. Basically, they owe Wizards $2 million. And let's just say, with the products we've seen lately, they've already sold it. So they don't have the $2 million to give them, nor do they probably have the inventory to give back to them or to sell to get that money, because they probably use it to pay bills instead of paying Wizards, like paying their people or the electric bill or rent or whatever other bad choices they made that burned all this money that put them into bankruptcy. Now, this means that barring unforeseen circumstances, always a possibility, is stores that had previously relied on Alliance game distributions to get Magic and D&D supplies will have to look elsewhere in just a couple of days. They will, and they are. I've already talked to some of my friends who have stores and people I'm acquainted with. They've stopped, honestly, dealing with these guys a long time ago for several reasons. One of them, it talks about there being a sales decline, and I can vouch for this. When I worked with Alliance, the hoops you had to jump through, the amount of products you had to buy, and the things you had to buy with other product to get the product you wanted made it almost impossible to deal with these people on just a one-for-one basis. And it was honestly better to just have a different distributor. So, yeah. Thankfully, it won't be too difficult, though. Wizards has a public list of distributor partners around the world, the U.S. particularly, They're all listed here. There are only 4 left. There is Peachtree Hobby Distribution, often referred to as Peachtree, GTS Distribution, not real familiar with them, and Southern Distribution. I just talked about them in the beginning, Southern Hobbies. Anyway, and these guys are seeing sales increases, and to be fair, I've worked with Peach State and Southern. So much easier to order from, less hoops to jump through, less requirements, and a little better at just getting you the product in general, to be fair. Now, with any luck, gamers won't notice significant interruption to their supplies. We talked about the tariff thing already, so that's not a big deal. To be fair, this probably will affect some stores. If it does, then your store either A, doesn't have good accounts with these other distributors for some reason, or B, doesn't invest a lot of money in the Magic, because there's no reason to have if you could have all these distributors, 1, 2, 3, and Alliance or whatever. But if you were to take all that money and spread it out across 4 distributors, you don't get any perks. Like, distributors give you more for the more you spend. So you're going to find the distributor that gives you the biggest bang for your buck and put a good chunk of your money in that distributor. Most stores, I know, at least have 2 distributors. Like I mentioned, when I had my shop, I had 3 and a 4th distributor, which was not Magic related. It was just for other random shit I couldn't get through other people. So shouldn't be an issue, but if you do have an issue, this might be why. And I do know some stores are going to struggle because it is a little harder to order through some of these guys because of the amount of money they want you to order with, which is kind of understandable to make it worth their while to ship, which made it easier to order through Alliance for smaller orders. But again, less of a discount made things cost more, so forth and so on. So we'll see how this plays out in the long run, but I honestly don't think it's really going to affect supply and demand as a whole. Now, into individual stores or shops or owners, probably. But on the grand scheme of things, I think we won't even see anything happen. But it is what it is. So, back to Oblivion. Until next time, be kind, and I hope to see you crossing the game table. The hell did I put that longsword at?